Hello and welcome to Night Clerk Radio. This is episode 150, and what better way to celebrate this milestone of an episode than with new music, and in particular, Boards of Canada's new album, Inferno. As in our previous episode, we did a retrospective on their main body of work, but this is the first album in 13 years from them, and boy, what an achievement it is. BOC, they still got it, I guess you could say. Yeah. So we have a lot to talk about. It's a big album too. 70 minutes long, 18 tracks. And there's so much. They're boardsing as hard as they can. It's the most Boards of Canada album I've listened to. It feels like a summation of a lot. Well, we'll get into more specific. But anyways, how are you doing, Burke?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I guess I'm a little disappointed in myself for not doing a numerology bit with a round number like 150.
Oh, yeah.
And Boards of Canada, who are big into lots of numerology fan speculation and what they do, and in the albums themselves. But 150, I don't know. I'm sure it's interesting to somebody, but it's not one of these like perfect numbers or weird primes or weird composite numbers, or maybe it is. I have to think about it. A lot of stuff does divide into 150. That could be interesting.
Ooh, yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what makes the numerologist tick. I'm sorry. I just assume it's lots of things multiplying into other things.
I mean, it's just pattern recognition gone awry, right?
It's true.
It's not just 23 and 42 and 333 and all kinds of significant numbers.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much fan speculation with this. Is like, I think it's Warp release is like 496, and the fans like, oh, did they request that because it's a perfect number that blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
it's like maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
is there 9 seconds of silence on the track to get to 70 minutes exactly? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I just like the music, man.
Yeah,
and I think the cult. Obviously, if you're just joining us as a show. If you like didn't care at all about Vaporwave or whatever, but you're like, oh, Boards of Canada, I know them. We just did a whole episode on them, so not going to repeat too much from there. But all this cult conspiracy comes up, and it's back on this album.
Oh man,
yeah, this album's really weird in a way because it is like all of the cult conspiracy stuff of like Geogaddi, but all of the pristine aesthetic thematic type stuff of like Tomorrow's Harvest. Mm-hmm. Because, they do have this like lo-fi to hi-fi kind of spectrum sweep throughout their albums, from Music Has the Right to Children up to Tomorrow's Harvest. And this definitely keeps up in that hi-fi, more forward-looking, rather than like being quite so obsessed with memory in the same way, or like memory comes up differently.
Yeah,
I guess in this one.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, this is a very cult album. Like, it is very specifically focused on cults. Numerous references to cults, samples from cult recordings. We'll get into it as we go track by track, but like feels very appropriate for the time. But yeah, there is, I think there is kind of like a summation, their previous albums. There's a little bit of everything of all their previous work in this album. They're trying out stuff, the same kind of techniques and instruments you've heard before, but in, they're fine tuning and improving on it. I mean, it's an extremely listenable album. Like I've listened to this probably 10 times already because we had a bunch of time to listen to this album. I was just listening to it. I was preparing dinner tonight on the CD, by the way.
Oh my God.
Which it does benefit from listening to a good sound system if you can. Mm-hmm. So there is that. And of course, the CD comes with a lovely little photo booklet with these photo collages that are very creepy. Like, they're out of focus. They're very fuzzy. There's like layers of textures on them, and children with like pure white eyes, something from a horror movie or like a Cronenberg movie from the 70s. It's got that same palette of the 70s that they're known for. And it's a nice little accompaniment to the album. So yeah, if you want to spend the extra bucks, buy it and rip it, but the download version is fine too, or even just stream it. But I think, yeah, they're overall, maybe they're just thinking or commenting on the kind of thinking that that is prevalent in cults. Maybe that, again, there's a lot of this interpretation. Like, what are they actually seeing? What do they mean? What do the numbers mean? And it doesn't have to mean anything. It could just be a reflection of a mirror up to what we are facing today. Or it's just what they find interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about it in terms of the last episode because, we sort of used the Boards of Canada retrospective to talk about like our three, I don't know, pillars. It sounds like a silly word to say, but pillars, hauntology, nostalgia, and plunderphonics. I was trying to think like, how does this sit in with each of those? And it's sort of interesting because like, I'm going to go like kind of the same order I went through introducing them in the last episode. So like, I think this is much more in terms of like classical plunderphonics. I feel much more in that spirit because like the samples feel more traceable. They're more like vocals or like vocoded samples from like documents or like Aleister Crowley monologues and number stations are back. That was in Geogaddi. There's religious leaders.
Yeah.
And sort of much more obvious rather than like carving together bits and pieces of like cultural detritus in the same way as like Music Has the Right to Children or something did.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah, the vocal work in this album is incredible. Like even as we mentioned last episode, I think the way they use sampled voices as an instrument and to great effect is really on display here. Like there's so many great tracks and great like track 7 Araka, which we'll get into, is like just lives in my head now. It is definitely an earworm. But yeah, it's a combination of like what the people are saying and what Boards of Canada does to the voices. Because they do a lot of transformative work. Like you can still understand them, but yeah, the vocoding, the kind of like speak and spell voice that they like to use. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so if you want to understand like plunderphonics, the power of plunderphonics, like this is a great album to like show people because you can still identify it as opposed to like groups like the Avalanches, which,
sure,
transform it so much you can't identify it. But like
absolutely, or even just their early work. Yeah, so the second one was Nostalgia. And I think this is one that's interesting because in some sense where I know there's been some move, say like in Vaporwave stuff to do more of like 2000s.
Yeah.
Fujero type stuff. But like just in general, we've been in such we're like still roughly in the same nostalgia cycle. Tomorrow's Harvest came out. Like we haven't really meaningfully moved on. And in some sense it's gotten worse. And it's sort
worse,
of, it's highlighted sort of Simon Reynolds in Retromania had this idea of like, what does it mean when everything is just like pristinely, even if it's a shitty VHS rip or anything, everything's kind of like pristinely captured and just available to go look at. Grafton Tanner also talks about this in Foreverism of like nothing ever really goes away anymore. Yep. So you don't have like this faded memory anymore because I don't have to go like, oh man, do you remember that really weird Nutri-Grain commercial in The Office in the 90s? And then we all kind of like half remember it to each other, like babies everywhere or whatever. You can just go watch it. Yeah. Like I only know half these quotes because I can just go watch YouTube.
People are still making memes from The Simpsons, the first 10 seasons. Like nobody makes a meme about The Simpsons from the recent season. It's all stuff from the 90s. Like they just released a remake of He-Man as a feature-length film again. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's been going on for a while. But like, it's just, I just think of compared to like 98. Right, where like it's like you actually have to go dig shit up. Like they had to go dig up like all these film board samples have to be recorded from somewhere. There's not just like archive.org and then go download a 200 gig rip or whatever of some weirdo put up every and we watch these, right? So there's like that YouTube channel like 16 millimeter AV Geeks.
Oh yeah,
that just put up like all kinds of weird shit. The guy's just constantly uploading like everything people send him. He just kind of digitizes it and puts it
it's
up.
become this own like community of like lost media seekers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's become its own hobby now, its own like passion, trying to find and preserve this stuff. So yeah. And once it's preserved, like there are all these data hoarders and other communities that like preserve it, although it's a little harder now that hard drives are so much more expensive than they were, a year ago. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's either preserving it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
Or built out huge NASs like 5 years ago. They knew it was coming. I don't know. It just kind of changes like the relationship to memory and stuff. I don't know. Just something to think about. Just kind of giving stuff to keep in the back of listeners' minds.
Yeah, we're not going to resolve all of these issues in this one.
No. God, no. So the last one's hauntology. This is, of course, like the big one for the show, media of the present haunted by lost futures, that lead to like longing for a future that's kind of going away. So I don't know, like each one feels, this is an interesting one to think about as we talk about tracks, because as I said at the beginning, I think the aesthetic is less haunted. It's much more prescient. Like a lot of the like political commentary is much more focused. It's cleaner. It's much more hi-fi, I've said. But the content itself is like super haunted. It's like dead cult members and Aleister Crowley and shit. So one thing that I think is interesting to think about is, the cancellation of the future in hauntology for someone like Fisher, who's kind of like the most popular in this regime, was secular, right? It was like this capitalism is this all-consuming being that we can't break from. It's going to shut down everything. And like by bringing in all this religious cult stuff, not that it's completely unrelated, but it's almost more like an eschatological apocalypse.
Ooh, yeah.
Less than like a secular economic one. But then there's also stuff about like the interface between, say, that and I don't know, like science or whatever, because there's a lot of like little, they're not even Easter eggs, so like in the fucking track titles. But at least there's a lot of like astronomy, extraterrestrial, cosmology, universe references, especially in like the first half of the album. I mean, throughout, but it's extremely obvious in the first, two titles of the first two tracks that are not just a short intro. So just that, like a different cancellation of the future, than some secular economic one.
Yeah.
Stuff to keep in mind, perhaps. That's my brain dump before we go into track discussion.
Yeah, I largely agree. It is definitely a more, science versus faith, kind of meditation in some ways, because there is, this intense blending of the two fields of thought throughout the album. So excellent point. We should dive into the tracks because there are quite a few of them.
Do it.
All right. So I don't know if we're going to have samples in this episode because of...
I had not planned on putting samples into this. I didn't put it into the other one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. But the album's out. Just listen to it. Like you just
you listen to it.
Yeah. First album.
All their stuff's on Bandcamp.
Yeah, it's all there. It's on Bandcamp. It's probably on every single streaming platform.
Yeah.
First track is Intro It, and it's just a lovely 36-second, like, this is like classic Boards of Canada. It just this could have been in Music as Art Show, any of their albums. Like it's just like the start of an educational TV show, warm and fuzzy, and it's just nice and pleasant, and it's just this lovely varying arpeggio. Like it's so nice, and I love it.
That was my thought. It sounds like the intro of an educational film,
Yeah.
Like to your point. Yeah, exactly.
But again, it's only 36 seconds, so it's not much to go on. And track 2, Prophecy at 1420 megahertz, which I believe is the single of the album.
Yeah, that was the big music video type one. Yeah. They usually do that.
And we're already shifting to a very dark, ominous track after that warm hug of a track. Guitar, buzzing synths, radio cutting in and out, and distorted vocals. And so the lyrics are talking about I am God, the ultimate resonance, the spirit and the soul, or the psyche. Yeah, it's very cosmological. It's very religious.
Yeah, and this also gets into astronomy references. So Introit / Prophecy at 1420 megahertz was the kind of like teaser track. They always pick one of the first tracks from the album and make a music video and release it ahead of time and stuff. So do you know what 1420 megahertz is, Ross? Have you done your research?
I did not do my research on that particular aspect. No.
Okay. So 1420 megahertz is the frequency of what's called the hydrogen line in astronomy. It's 21 centimeters. It's in radio astronomy, like microwave to radio astronomy. And it's used to map the existence of kind of neutral hydrogen in the universe, in the galaxy. So it was like one of the first big signals that we could use like in the 50s with radio astronomy to like understand that the Milky Way is a spiral structure, because you can look at the Doppler shifts in that emission and like track out like, oh, this stuff's moving away from me, this stuff's moving towards me, etc. Kind of build like 3D maps of what you're looking at.
Oh.
So that's the 21 centimeter spin flip transition in hydrogen.
Oh, wow. So this is like the thesis of the album as a whole is, science and religion.
Yeah, it also comes up in the next track. So the other thing is that it's strongly associated with, because it's very distinct, and it also shows an understanding of like quantum mechanics. It was and it's easy to look for. Luckily, it was a promising thing they did in SETI. So it does have some connection. It has 2 connections to extraterrestrials.
Oh, okay.
It was promising in SETI, which they thought that what they would look for were signals that were at like pi and 2 pi times that, because there's no natural way to create that, because pi is an irrational number. So you can't have like a physical system produce these harmonic resonances at those frequencies. So it was like, maybe if we broadcast to each other this, we can all say, hey, we're intelligent. We're a techno signal, right? Not just something naturally occurring.
Not noise. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also, do you know what the wow signal is?
I do know about that. Yeah.
So that was detected at 21 centimeters. That was also
okay. Yeah, that was the one thing. Like, I think we got it, and they wrote it down on the.
It was just an abnormally strong radio signal that had never been repeated, and we don't have like a good explanation for it. Mm-hmm. So, like when you can't explain something, you just go aliens.
Why not? Yeah, obviously.
Why not?
Occam's razor, right? Yeah, that's definitely the
so
easiest
prophecy
way to
at that. So you have this like radio vocoded thing coming at you. Prophecy at this sort of cosmic signal. Mm-hmm. You know, it's pretty on the nose, if you
I gotcha.
know what it's referencing. Yeah.
I do like also this track towards the end. It kind of reminds me a bit of Nine Inch Nails, some of their later albums. Like it's just that same kind of a musical space. So I'm a fan of that. But yeah, great track. Yep. I'll have to play it in my next Delta Green game. Well, I
there
can't.
You go.
Because
this cosmic signal, we're just going to trade back and forth a little bit. Maybe I'll just keep going. Comes into the next track, which is track 3, hydrogen, helium, lithium, Leviathan. So hydrogen, helium, lithium are the 3 primary elements created in like the first 20 minutes of the universe after the Big Bang and Big Bang nucleosynthesis. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of the first 3 we expect because you get hydrogen makes helium, hydrogen and helium can make lithium. It's more energetically favorable for them to make lithium than other stuff first.
Yeah.
So
and then again with religious iconography.
Leviathan.
Yeah, Leviathan. Yeah.
Into Leviathan.
Yeah, very interesting. I like this track too. Just it has this kind of ambient opening, but then it turns into like this sci-fi IDM track. I hope every time I think of Boards of Canada, I mean, I used to like associate them Boards of Canada ambient, but like they really do a lot of really good IDM, and it's like very like got a beat. It kind of gets you going. And this track is great too. I love the horn section towards the end. Like it's just very rare. I don't really associate like any of that horns with BOC, but like so it's a welcome little flourish towards the end. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, I have in my notes. I'm sure I stole it from somewhere. So I have a little bit of agony of influence with Boards of Canada just because it's one of the bands where we can find probably the most secondary sources. So I read a bunch of like, Simon Reynolds and Quietus and some other blogs and stuff on it. So if I copy, I'm going to have all my references in there. If I repeat anything from them by accident, sorry. But I have in my notes, cosmology bleeding into scripture is what I put for the track title.
Yeah, that's a reoccurring theme, I think, in this.
Yeah.
But moving on to track 4, Age of Capricorn, which is also a great track. Lots of singing in this one. Very spooky. The speak and spell voice and then actual singing. So like very ethereal, kind of new agey. Begins kind of hopeful, but with the singing gets a little darker. And the lyrics are quite weird. I'm not sure. I haven't found out what the source of these are.
Oh, for the Age of Capricorn?
Yeah, Age of Capricorn. Yeah. I know Mavis is like a reference to an Antichrist or the Antichrist from Nostradamus.
Yeah, that's from like Nostradamus or something like that, I think.
I think so.
No, so I think the vocal samples, if so my research is right, are from a 1990 VHS called AD 2000, The End, ? Which is, if it's the one I'm thinking of, professional would have looked this up before we hit record, is actually one of these fairly famous VHS rips. This guy, Jack Van Impe, I think. So if you look at any of these like magnetic memories or like VHS archives, they almost always have a rip of it. It was very famous. So I do think there's a little bit here also of, accessibility of memory now, because it's just kind of everywhere. It's ripped a billion times on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So
we'll have to track that down. But that's...
I have it right here in another tab.
Oh, okay.
But but it's on all these, all these people rip it. And stuff.
Yeah. Great track though.
Yeah.
Again, just really emphasizing the cultic aspects of this album. And the lyrics are great. And then, of course, we did track 5, of course, Father and Son. And this is another reference to a cult, because I did find a reference to this, the singing in track 5. Track 5, by the way, is got this weird drumming, like it's a very odd beat, I think.
Yes.
But the vocals are from the Children of God cult, also known as Family International. And it's on YouTube and you can find that pretty easily. And yeah, it's just weird cult chanting. And it's very spooky.
I think I love the Lord more than any physical being, I think is something that gets repeated. Is like buried in there. Yeah. Yeah. So it's from a 1971 BBC document called The Jesus Trip.
Okay. And they recorded it.
It's about it's a father and son talking about the son who joined the Children of God, which was one of these big cults, which I thought for a second, I was like, is that the one that got Bobby Fischer? But I think that was Worldwide Church of God, which sounds very similar.
Yeah.
But
hard to keep our Church of Gods.
I can't keep my God cults. They're so hard.
There's so many, especially in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, very, again, just any thoughts on the drumming or the beat of that? Like it's yeah.
I don't have like from like a music theory standpoint, I don't have much to say about it. Mm-hmm. It's like very industrial almost. It's very interesting. It's like there's like very syncopated industrial. Yeah. There's a lot of like auxiliary percussion going on against it.
Did they hang out with Trent Reznor? Is this why this album is the way it sounds? Which
maybe. Yeah, I think it's all the different timbres of what you're thinking of as mysterious, because I don't think it's like an odd time or anything like that. At least not obviously.
Okay.
But there's not enough to latch onto and count. I'd have to really sit and break it down, which I'm not really that good at. So
fair enough. Then we move on to track 7, Somewhere Right Now in the Future. It's right now and also in the future at the same time.
Great hauntological track, future tense, present adverb.
Yeah.
Nostalgic. It's just all over the place.
Yeah. Out of tune. Like the guitar is great. Very lo-fi.
Yep.
Eerie. And I do like their use of guitar. Again, I talked about this on the Discord. There's a lot of music I want to get into, like folk music, but it's just like, it's just guitar, wall to wall. But like this, they just use it selectively and so great when it does show up. I got kind of like Silent Hill soundtrack vibes from this one. This is more.
They are leaning heavily into like the soundtrack inspiration in terms of effect, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it.
So apparently the phrase somewhere right now in the future may take its name from
Autechre.
Yeah, Autechre. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Because they were asked about Boards of Canada and they said they're probably in the future somewhere worrying about why it isn't like the past. And so
that's fun. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I got this from genius.com's section on Inferno because it has all the lyrics. So they have fun facts about it as well.
So many little fan theories left that are fun to look at. These little speculative guys.
Yeah. And then we move on to track 7, Naraka, which is another great IDM track. And again, this is the earworm track for me. Naraka is a region of hell in Dharmic religions. And the chant is literally Hare Krishna from the Hare Krishnas. Another.
Yeah, the ISKCON or whatever.
Yeah. Another cult very heavily associated with the 70s. If you remember the movie Airplane, the bald guys chanting at the airport before they get on. Well, those are the Hare Krishnas. Very much a product of their time. They're still around, I believe, but like they're not like it was like I remember reading. Like I would get old Mad magazines from like a garage sale and read them as a kid and be like, the hell are the Hare Krishnas? But they'd be making jokes about them because they were everywhere back then, apparently. So, yeah. But yeah, I really like this song. This is one I would definitely put in mixes or something like that. But like, it just got a great hook.
Yeah, it's very ominous. It's very like intro to I don't know. I'm very stuck in soundtrack mode. Mm-hmm. It's like very documentary intro or something. Like I can see like sped up tilt shift footage or something.
Oh no, not the tilt shift.
Yeah, exactly. Of like people walking, and because it's got again like really great like alternative percussion and stuff going on. As you said, the Naka being like the hell realm. So I'm trying to remember like Geogaddi, and at least this album up to this is very like Christian. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of like Christian cults. So like we're introducing like other religions here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if Geogaddi had any references to
other religions. I don't remember.
It's funny because I just fucking did the episode on it. I'm like, I would have had a blind spot to that. I think if it did, quite frankly, it wasn't until it was this obvious. I'd have to double check.
That'd be an interesting like analysis to see like what religions they're referencing in these. Yeah. Cause it's mostly Abrahamic religions,
Yeah.
But, Western culture being what it is. So the next track is track 8, Acts of Magic, which is short. I kind of thought of it as kind of nervous, very spooky, purely instrumental. I didn't pick up any voices. Acts of Magic is obviously sort of a cult kind of title. I'm not sure. There's fan theories about it, but I'm not really sure about those. I don't know. There's like stuff like Aleister Crowley's magic and stuff like that. Yeah.
But I don't hear it. I mean, I don't know what I'm listening for in that regard. Yeah. But I do think this track came out like almost perfectly out of the previous track. Like they feel very like interestingly connected almost. Like it's not perfect. Like if you cut a little bit out from each one, it almost feels roughly connected because it has that sort of same pulsing synth, but some of the other percussion has gone away and stuff. Mm-hmm. We definitely also, I feel like by this point in the album have... There's starting to be like a little bit of decay. Like it's still very hi-fi. It's still very clean, but it's not as bright as we started off. Of course, we're getting darker. We are drifting darker, even though some of like the more darker vocal samples and stuff have gone away. I feel like we're drifting a little bit.
I hadn't thought about that.
Which is kind of appropriate because the next track is like Memory Death.
Yeah.
Right?
Memory Death is very good as well. It has a heartbeat in it. Like it sounds like a heartbeat to me. And I
think that's right.
Yeah, there's some sort of vocals in it, but they're very distorted. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what they are. Yeah, Memory Death is not a great pretty dark title. Yeah.
Pretty bad. Yeah. And it does feel like one of those tracks where it's like, we slowed something down 800% type. It has that really drawn out aesthetic to everything, that like creepy, haunted, kind of ethereal erasure. Yeah. Like everything's kind of being stretched out into nothingness. Like, the universe expands until everything rips apart. Yeah. We kind of, I don't know.
No.
Trying to tie it back.
It definitely thematic for the album. The next track, though, track 10, The Word Becomes Flesh. Of course, that is from the Gospel of John. And so religious there, but there are vocals here, which are taken from a educational film, biology, talking about a chicken, growing in an embryo, and becoming
embryonic development and stuff.
Interestingly enough, this is the track that was used in the end credits of the Backrooms. So
there it is.
So we have all of the elements here, religion, science, creepy as hell, haunted, literally, pulled from the Backrooms. Kane Parsons, of course, has directly mentioned BOC as a inspiration. Yeah, I don't think people have specifically sourced which educational film it comes from, but
I think they have. I don't have a title. Okay. I think there was like a big list of samples. I think it was from like the 80s or something. It was like the early 80s. Okay.
But just an incredibly creepy track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very tense, very robotic. Like the way they have, like whatever they done to the voice makes it sound very robotic. I mean, obviously the original narration probably sounds pretty robotic too, because she's just literally reading this very dense scientific text. It's just like Boards of Canada being the most Boards of Canada they can be.
Yeah, but each one they're being a little bit different era Boards of Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some stuff feels like it could be like some of that intro stuff feels like it could almost be from Music Has the Right to Children. Like that educational intro kind of callback.
Yeah.
Versus some of the cult stuff being like Geogaddi. I think the next track, Into the Magic Land, has this like warm guitar palette. So I almost feel like it's like remembering its Campfire Head phase.
Yeah.
Like that's the memories it's supposed to kind of bring back, is like maybe hearing some of that album.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like guitar, clean, post-rocky, folky type approach.
This is more spacey. It's more, like more Campfire. It's not nearly as dark as the previous tracks. So we're almost giving us a little space to breathe. I love the bass in it. Somehow it still works though. Like even though it is a shift, very nice. Yeah. Moving on to one of my favorite tracks too, Blood in the Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
Yeah. Very dark opening. Heartbeat comes back. I think there's like a sitar in it around a minute and a half in. It's very mysterious. Yeah.
I don't know. Like Blood in the Labyrinth is interesting because you get into like Minotaur imagery or like ritual violence almost.
Yeah, there are some lyrics here which are quoted from some educational film. 1979 TV special called Angel Death, which explores the effects of PCP and the physical effects.
Oh, that does sound familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second section is taken from an interview from a woman who committed herself to a mental institution following the drowning of her friend. The TV special is controversial because it featured footage of animal experimentation. So an infamous, dark educational special about a very dark subject. And I got Silent Hill vibes again from this, partly from the guitar, partly just from the. This is one of the more dense tracks, I think, too. Like it especially towards the end, it really builds up.
Yeah.
And so I quite like it as one, but definitely one of the more horrific tracks, especially when you understand the context of the samples. But very good. Then we have track 13, which I imagine you quite liked.
Did I?
Yeah. You love the ambience.
Yeah.
Well, what does deep time mean, Burke?
It's like a geology scale.
Well, and astronomical,
Yeah, like time, like the time it scales beyond human existence, basically.
Yeah.
That you can't comprehend. If you want to have like a nice existential dread, there are some cool Wikipedia pages that are like the far history of the universe. And it's like in 850 million years, all of this will break down. And then 1.3 billion. It's just like this detailed timeline of everything, how everything's going to crumble and fall apart. And there's nothing you can do about it over the next, I don't know, 10 quintillion billion years. It goes out to like 10 to some ridiculous exponential. I thought you were making a joke because this is the track that famously the White House used on their social media.
Oh, I knew that. I forgot it was this particular track. I knew they used it.
I'm pretty sure it was this track because we live in a nightmare era.
Yeah, we do.
So
an Inferno, you might say. Yeah.
One might say. Yeah.
I tried to forget. There are like some strings instrument coming in here. No, it's fine. Like, but it is a more sci-fi track. Like it is sci-fi ambient, very spacey.
Yeah, orchestral. The orchestral stuff you're talking about. So
yeah. I was just thinking, famously you're not as into ambient as I am. So, yeah. Then we have track 14, All Reason Departs, which if you want to talk about cults, man, there are more vocals in here, which is a speech taken from Aleister Crowley's Magic 4, which is a bunch of esoteric nonsense, of course, but it sounds really cool.
Very popular. Yeah.
Very, very spooky. Again, another industrial kind of track.
Yeah. And it's like, I love the vocal, I like all the vocoding and stuff on the vocals throughout this album.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's good.
It is.
I know.
No, again,
it was like, we're really doing it.
Previous episode.
We're into it now.
Yeah. Like I said in the previous episode, Boards of Canada is the best when it comes to like making the voice into an instrument and just not singing and just making it like hopeful or terrifying, or a little bit of both. So track 15, Arena Amera Canada. Yeah. Very sort of low, growly kind of synthesizers, faster IDM track. No vocals as far as I could tell. And more political than the others. I mean, like not really meshing as much with the science and religion aspect of it, but
Yeah, well, yeah, it's interesting because it is like this, like, I don't know, like turn of the century little IDM track. It feels like a throwback track. It's a little upbeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have this portmanteau of America and Canada, which, there's recently been like, that's a common thing both in like speculative sci-fi of like, America and Canada have to come together. I'm going to reference Shadowrun and Infinite Jest for that one. But that comes up a lot. And of course, there's a lot of like kind of like threatened, just one of those distraction things in the media for all. I was like, we should take over Canada.
Yep.
Whatever. What are they doing up there? So yeah, so it's kind of a little bit one of the more unfortunately present tense tracks.
Yeah, unfortunately. But it's a good track.
Yeah.
And you're literally calling your band Boards of Canada. You live in Canada, or you used to live in Canada. I get it. I would be pissed at America too.
Sure.
And rightly so.
And you know what? Yeah. I hate to say it, but maybe you got to you, the listener, it's got to put on your inner "This Is Fine" dog and just bop. Yeah. Just let it, just enjoy.
Nothing you can do. Horses larger than yourself. But moving onwards as we do, you got to trust in the process, really.
You do.
Track 16, which I did not, that has more vocals, very weird, nonsensical speaking. Yeah. I'm not sure what it's from.
I don't know what the sample is. So there's definitely people have found, they think it's some Rush number station stuff.
Oh, okay.
In there on top of, they're not sure like what some of the other like panicky vocal samples are. There's also, I think this is confirmed. I have to look see if this is fan, but there's the title is a reference to the Process Church of the Final Judgment, which was an apocalyptic cult in the 70s.
Back to the 70s again. A 70s cult.
70s apocalyptic. Yeah. I mean, it's been around forever.
This is another kind of industrial kind of track, I feel.
Yeah.
Pretty good. 2 tracks left. We have You Retreat in Time and Space, which is, another instrumental, no vocals, but very serene.
Warmer?
Yeah, warmer, very kind of new agey, more classic BOC, I guess you could say.
Yeah, a few of the references I saw called it Badalamenti-like, which I guess I can see, some of his more pastoral soundtrack work.
Pastoral's a good.
If we kind of know that those are all, references or touch points of inspiration.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, we have the last track of the album, I Saw Through Platonia, which Heartbeat returns. It's very ambient with ringing bells and radio static. And it's just this kind of Platonia has multiple meanings. BOC could have pulled from. There's a plant, the scientific name that starts with that. Yeah, there's a planet in a 1960s British sci-fi show.
I am going to go with, given all the other references, there was a physicist, Julien Babor, who said Platonia was like, it's a little like woo-y, but it was his place where it's like every quantum configuration exists simultaneously.
Oh,
kind of time and space and like all that dissolves in meaning. It was like every possible configuration of the universe exists, you know, in this singular kind of timeless realm.
that probably is what it is. It's
I'm going to say that's what it is.
yeah, it's probably
Given all the other
it's
physics references.
yeah, probably not the sci-fi show Fireball XL5. Yeah,
No.
probably not that.
Yeah. So he did a lot of these like philosophy of time, and it's very like, I don't think it was particularly popular. I don't think it was like a particularly popular view or like idea.
I see. Oh, wait, I forgot. There is a bonus track in the double vinyl.
Yes, there's the hidden 19th track.
Yes. Volume 4, P Primers 177, Gerard's Mirror.
God's Mirror. Yeah.
Which has some creepy vocals again, which are Ascension recorded at the MWCYF conference, 28 August 1983. The greatest gift is the smile you give to your brother.
That's right.
Yeah.
Made by brothers. Yeah, this one it's a shame it's kind of hidden. So it's on YouTube, you know, people have ripped it, of course, and put it up. I like it. It's very haunted. It's very like zombie soundtrack. I don't know, like 28 Days Later type nonsense. To me, anyway, like some of that like droning, creepy ass synth in the middle. So
yeah, great little end cap for the true fans, the ones who get the vinyl and listen to it. Only on vinyl. You need vinyl. You do not. But yeah, this is going to go in heavy rotation. I'm going to be listening to this album a lot and re-listen to all my older BOC material albums. Because, you know, BOC, they're still good. They still got it.
Still got it.
Yeah.
If you're into them, they still got what you want. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's a perfectly fine evolution of their sound after 13 years to me. I don't know what people expected, like something completely new or what, but it feels like a very natural direction to go after Tomorrow's Harvest.
Yeah. Just perfecting their very unique style and just, you know, combing the depths for these obscure samples to make these very ominous works of art that are open to interpretation. I mean, I think that's part of the fun of it now is also like you have this rich body of music to like listen to and pull new things out of and interpret and reinterpret. And it's fodder for a lot of people listening to the album while slightly stoned and arguing its finer points. Like what is life meant for other than that? You know, I ask you than to ponder complex music like this. What finer pastime can there be?
I got nothing.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
Exactly. As our world turns into an inferno. Metaphorically and literally in America. Yeah, go listen to this album, go buy it, go support Boards of Canada. It's everything. It lives up to the hype. It lives up to expectations. But that's all I got. We talked enough about it. We've almost talked equal to the album itself. So
no, we're about halfway there.
Okay.
About a little over.
Yeah.
If we could yap another 20 minutes, we'd hit the album length, but we're not going to do that because you're going to take us home.
One day we'll do an episode that will be longer than the album we review. Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. We'll just pick some little 20-minute vaporwave album.
Yeah. And then we could do like 5 times long. We'd be like one of those guys who talks about a movie that's 2 hours long for 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that.
You got to be like more of like, I feel like that you got to be like a weirdo right winger to do that. That's always like, I associate with guys like Mahler and stuff who just like, here, I'm going to explain for 8 hours why bad women are in Marvel movies or whatever.
I mean, that's true. Yeah. They need to fill the void that they were conditioned by talk radio, right? They need someone to tell them what to think for 8 hours a day. Or they won't know.
It's true.
So thank you so much for listening to this episode. We had a lot of fun making it and recording it. And our next episode, we don't know yet. We've been so focused on Boards of Canada this month that we haven't had time to discuss what to do next. Obviously, we'll do some new music. For our other episode, we'll have to discuss that. And so it'll be a surprise. And aren't surprises worth you're looking forward to?
Yeah.
Don't forget to join our Patreon, patreon.com/nightclurkradio. We conclude our book club run on our Patreon episode where we go exhaustively into the book Eyeliner by Now, part of the 33 and a Third international series, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's Oceana.
It's
Oceana.
Yeah. And we just go over this book with a fine-tooth comb and have a very lovely discussion about it. And we also have a great community. We also have like 5 years of episodes now you can listen to, bonus episodes that have never been released. We're also on Blue Sky, and we have a Discord server and an email address. There's a Facebook page that I don't check anymore. So
Yep. Yeah.
please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, what other podcasting app you use, or subscribe to us on YouTube and ring that bell and whatever it is that helps us on YouTube.
Whatever you're into.
Whatever you're into. Yeah.
Click whatever you got to click.
Yeah. Tell your cult members about us. We're great backup listening.
Creepy vote code sample me, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I could be a cult leader.
Yeah.
I got it in me.
You'd be the greatest vote code sample. You have a great voice for it. So, yeah.
I think so.
But thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.